now are looking at an enormous challenge in China with the coronavirus. I know it has all of us paying very close attention. Certainly, we are paying very close attention in Ottawa. What I can tell you is that the health risk remains low, and that the health authorities in British Columbia and Ontario and in Ottawa and people here in Alberta are working together well to make sure we have protocols in place. I think we always need to recognize those people who are doing a good job for our country and for our health. But I do want to acknowledge that the virus is undoubtedly going to have an economic impact. I'm also sure that it'll be a central topic of the meetings that I'm going to next week. Next week I'm going to the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meetings in Riyadh, where we'll be talking about the global economy and the challenges. Certainly one of the things that we will be focused on will be the overall state of our economy globally. One of the most important issues we'll be talking about will be trade and the rising impact of protectionism, which we're seeing around the world. I want to tell you that from our perspective, we will be advocating for rules-based trade. Canada is a trading nation. We're the only G7 country with trade agreements with all other G7 countries. And we know that advocating for rules-based trading is critically important for businesses. For businesses to invest and create jobs, they need to have confidence in the system. You can't take a leap of faith if you don't have faith in the rules that you're taking that leap in and around. The new NAFTA is making its way through Parliament, and we're confident that it will be approved. I want to just call out Premier Kenney and other premiers who were in Washington last week advocating for the fast approval of this. Any of you talking to your members of Parliament, it would be very helpful if you reinforced the importance of moving forward on this rapidly for the confidence of our economy and for our business sector. I'll also be talking to international partners about the importance of having rules that work for everyone. We're focused on making sure that international tech giants play by the same tax rules as other companies. We don't want to give an advantage to international companies that isn't the same advantage for Canadian companies, and we're going to continue to push in that regard. But as I said, I'm sure that coronavirus will be an area of focus. We can't know what the economic impacts are right now. Bloomberg came out recently with an estimate that it would impact the global economy by about 0.4% in 2020. And thinking about 0.4%, we need to keep that in the context of an economy globally that's growing at around 3%. So it's a significant impact. We also know that the impacts on Canada will be real. Impacts on tourism, impacts on the oil sector, and of course impacts on supply chain for any business that has a supply chain that is integrated with Chinese producers or Chinese consumers even from that standpoint. Oil prices have fallen by about 15% during this crisis as a result of reduced demand, and of course we have many, many fewer flights going in and out of China. So we know the impact is real. It's going to be felt across the country, but perhaps even more so here in the oil and gas sector. So in that context, it's important that we consider the state of the Canadian economy to provide information on how we're going to do. Right now, the Canadian economy remains strong. As we do our budget projections, we go out to private sector economists, and 14 out of 14 economists that we survey have projected growth for our economy in 2020. As I think you know, we've seen significant job growth across the country since 2015, with about 1.1 million jobs having been created during that time period. And overall, our economy is in a strong position. Our debt as a function of our GNP is in a very positive situation. We have the lowest level of debt as a function of our economy among G7 countries. It really is the envy of other countries. We're projected to be the second fastest growing economy in the G7 this year. But I will tell you that globally, volatility remains the key risk. And obviously that's been illustrated vividly over the past couple of months. So we know that we need to be financially responsible as we ensure that we have the capability and the resiliency to deal with any challenges that come our way, challenges that we might not be able to see right now. It's important that we're prepared for this, and I can tell you that this will be an important guide for us in this mandate of the government.